1979 Elizabeth II to new pence coin. As we continue our countdown of the most important and collectible UK Elizabeth II to new pence coins, we arrive at a coin that might seem like a quiet player at first glance, but, upon closer inspection, the 1979 issue reveals itself to be a sleeper in the world of decimal numismatics. This is the 1979 Elizabeth II to new pence coin, a striking copper-bronze piece that serves as a time capsule from the end of the 1970s, a decade filled with economic shifts, political tension, and monetary evolution in the UK. While many might assume that the two new pence coins were simply more of the same each year, collectors know better. Each issue tells its own story, especially when you study their context, quality, rarity, and enduring popularity among enthusiasts. Let's start with the basics. The 1979 to new pence coin retains the original larger size and heavier weight used for these denominations from their inception in 1971 through to 1981. The coin weighs 7.12 grams and has a diameter of 25.91 millimeters. Made of bronze, it carries a composition of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. This classic metal composition and larger form factor give the coin a satisfying tactile quality, even in fine condition. The warm patina and depth of design hold up exceptionally well. The obverse features the well-known second definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin. Her profile, facing right and wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, is elegantly presented, with a calm and composed expression that reflects the Queen's maturing image during that period. The legend reads Elizabeth to DGREGFD 1979, encircling her likeness. The reverse is consistent with Christopher Ironside's iconic design, featuring the badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, bound together with a ribbon bearing the motto ICH Dearn. The inscription New Pence remains at the top, a feature that would only appear on the coinage until 1981. At the base, the large numeral 2 completes the denomination, all framed within a beaded rim that adds classical elegance to the piece. The mintage of the 1979 to new pence coin was substantial. Approximately 130,453,000 pieces were struck for circulation. This was during a time when coin demand remained high as decimal coinage solidified its place in daily UK commerce. Even though this high mintage might make the coin seem common at first, quality matters, and that's where the collecting challenge comes into play. Fine condition examples are easier to locate than uncirculated ones, but there's a sweet spot for collectors who aim for coins with modest wear, consistent color, and full design integrity. In fine condition, where the Queen's facial features are still distinct and the feathers retain clear lines, the coin maintains modest value, but great collector appeal. In terms of market value, circulated 1979 to new pence coins in fine condition are typically valued between 15 pence and 60 pence. However, the value increases notably when the coin is found in better grades. Coins from uncirculated rolls or royal mint sets can sell between £2 and £5, with flawless examples bringing in more. Of special interest are proof versions from the 1979 proof set issued by the Royal Mint. These coins feature a mirror-like finish and frosted devices, and can reach values upward of £10 to £20 depending on the condition and packaging integrity. But what elevates this coin beyond price is its significance in the evolution of British decimal coinage. By 1979, decimalization had been in effect for less than a decade. The UK public was still adjusting to new coins and denominations. For many, the two new pence coin remained a novelty, used frequently, but still standing out for its size and distinctive new pence label. The coin also symbolizes a moment of calm before a change, the shift to the new to pence inscription, which would begin just a few years later. As a result, the 1979 coin is one of the last few years to feature this original phrasing, giving it lasting interest among collectors who focus on transitional elements in currency. Another appealing aspect of the 1979 issue is its consistency. This was a year without known major die changes, experimental strikes, or composition shifts, making it a stable and uniform coin year. That might sound dull at first, but for collectors, that very uniformity is valuable, ensures a standard against which to compare other years, and helps define what normal looked like before design changes started creeping in during the early 1980s. While no widespread striking errors have been confirmed for the 1979 to new pence, collectors still seek out possible varieties, including minor misalignments, weak strikes, or doubling. Any such anomaly can fetch a premium, especially when authenticated by reputable third-party graders. Many advanced numismatists also compare the rim beading, feather detailing, and tiara sharpness on Queen Elizabeth's portrait to distinguish finer strikes from weak ones. The beauty of the 1979 coin lies not just in its looks, but also in its availability. For new collectors entering the world of British coin collecting, this coin is an affordable entry point that still tells a compelling story. It's a coin that's often included in starter albums, decimal coin charts, and numismatic teaching collections. Its age is just right modern enough to be accessible, yet far enough removed to feel like a piece of vintage currency. Moreover, for collectors focusing on full date runs or building thematic collections around Queen Elizabeth II or decimalization history, the 1979 to new Pence coin becomes a critical piece. It's part of that foundational first decade and provides a sense of completion and authenticity. When assessing coins in fine condition, look for examples where the Queen's neckline is still visible, the inscription is readable without strain, and the reverse feathers retain textural depth. Light surface wear is acceptable, but avoid coins with pitting, corrosion, or deep scratches. Natural brown or reddish patinas are perfectly fine, and often preferred over heavily cleaned or artificially brightened pieces. If you're lucky enough to find a 1979 to new Pence coin in fine or better condition in your change, or stashed away in an old jar, don't overlook it. It might not be the rarest, but it's one of the coins that quietly built the backbone of modern UK coinage. It's a coin that aged gracefully, both in design and collector appeal. So whether you're just starting out or you're rounding out your decimal era collection, the 1979 Elizabeth II to new Pence is a piece you can be proud to include. Up next, we fast forward to the early 1990s, a time when the composition and size of the 2 Pence coin had already changed, and with it, a new generation of coins was born. 1993 Elizabeth II to new Pence coin in fine condition. As we move into the 1990s in our exploration of the most collectible Elizabeth II to new Pence coins, we arrive at a coin that represents a quiet but significant transition, one often overlooked by casual collectors, but valued deeply by those who understand the evolving narrative of British decimal coinage. The 1993 Elizabeth II to new Pence coin is more than a piece of spare change. It is a product of a new minting era, issued in a time when the UK was adjusting to changes not only in coin composition and design, but in the broader cultural and monetary environment. The 1993 issue is part of a series that retained the timeless Christopher Ironside reverse, but now existed in a new metallic form and size. By this point in history, the original bronze alloy used from 1971 to 1991 had been replaced with copper-plated steel. This change was first implemented in 1992. Largely due to rising costs of copper and the desire to create coins that were cheaper to produce yet visually identical to their predecessors. As a result, the 1993 to new Pence coin is lighter, slightly more magnetic, and slightly more prone to rust if exposed to moisture, yet indistinguishable in casual use from earlier bronze issues. It weighs 7.12 grams and maintains the same diameter of 25.91 millimeters. But the internal shift from bronze to copper-plated steel marked a significant transformation in British coinage materials. This coin features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Makhlouf, used on UK coinage from 1985 to 1997. This design marked a departure from the youthful depiction by Arnold Machen and presented the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, facing right with greater detail and majesty. Makhlouf's design is often noted for its elegance and depth, with a strong focus on regal expression and refined styling, a portrait that many collectors believe represents the Queen at the height of her mature grace and authority. The inscription surrounding her portrait reads Elizabeth to d. 1993, an abbreviated Latin phrase translating to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The lettering remains crisp even in circulated coins, especially those in fine condition. On the reverse, Christopher Ironside's original 2P design continues to impress. It displays the badge of the Prince of Wales, a coronet of feathers, encircled by a ribbon, with the German motto Ich diene, meaning I serve. Above the emblem is the now familiar denomination to pence, a wording change introduced in 1982 that replaced the original new pence legend used from 1971 to 1981. This adjustment reflected the currency's stabilization post-decimalization and the shift in public understanding. By 1993, the 2 pence inscription had become the accepted and permanent standard, a subtle but telling marker of Britain's decimal evolution. Mintage figures for the 1993 to new Pence coin are estimated to be approximately 321,649,000 pieces, indicating a healthy production year and a continued demand for small denominations in daily circulation. Despite this high number, the coin holds solid collector value when preserved in fine or better condition. Circulated examples in fine condition can typically fetch between 20 pence and 60 pence, depending on surface quality, coloration, and strike detail. Uncirculated coins, particularly those found in 1993 mint sets, command higher premiums, often ranging between £2 and £4. These sets are also attractive to collectors for the full suite of updated coinage styles and the pristine minting finish. What makes the 1993 coin so interesting is that it sits in a unique midpoint between two numismatic milestones: the transition to copper-plated steel in 1992 and the replacement of the Makhlouf portrait in 1998 by Ian Rank Broadley. This 5-year window of design and metal consistency gives the 1993 coin a defined place in the collector's timeline. In fact, some advanced collectors specifically build Makhlouf steel collections, which consist solely of coins from this narrow 1992 to 1997 period. Within that subset, the 1993 issue is favored for its clean production year and lack of major errors or varieties, offering a textbook example of how UK coins looked and felt in the early 1990s. While the 1993 to new Pence coin is not known for high-value mint errors, a few notable varieties and anomalies have been reported by collectors. These include off-center strikes, die chips around the coronet or ribbon, and slight doubling of the queen's neckline or lettering. While rare, these errors can elevate a typical 20p coin into the £10, £20 range if clearly visible and verified by professional graders. Coins with full-edge rims, sharp details in the queen's hair, and no rust or discoloration are especially desirable. Being copper-plated steel, these coins are more susceptible to environmental damage than earlier bronze issues, so finding a well-preserved example from circulation is a welcome discovery. Additionally, 1993 was a year with no known restrikes or proof-only issues for this denomination, meaning all examples available to collectors today come directly from general circulation or mint sets. One interesting point about the 1993 issue is its role in educating new collectors about composition changes. A simple magnet test can distinguish a 1993 steel-based coin from an earlier bronze one, making it a great teaching tool for young numismatists or hobbyists exploring the science behind coinage. Its consistency and appearance with previous years, but differing internal material, presents a fascinating contrast between what we see and what lies beneath. In terms of design appreciation, Makhlouf's portrait continues to be highly regarded. Mintage figures for the 1993 to new Pence coin are estimated to be approximately 321,649,000 pieces, indicating a healthy production year and a continued demand for small denominations in daily circulation. Despite this high number, the coin holds solid collector value when preserved in fine or better condition. Circulated examples in fine condition can typically fetch between 20 pence and 60 pence, depending on surface quality, coloration, and strike detail. Uncirculated coins, particularly those found in 1993 mint sets, command higher premiums, often ranging between £2 and £4. These sets are also attractive to collectors for the full suite of updated coinage styles and the pristine minting finish. What makes the 1993 coin so interesting is that it sits in a unique midpoint between two numismatic milestones: the transition to copper-plated steel in 1992 and the replacement of the Makhlouf portrait in 1998 by Ian Rank Broadley. This 5-year window of design and metal consistency gives the 1993 coin a defined place in the collector's timeline. In fact, some advanced collectors specifically build Makhlouf steel collections, which consist solely of coins from this narrow 1992 to 1997 period. Within that subset, the 1993 issue is favored for its clean production year and lack of major errors or varieties, offering a textbook example of how UK coins looked and felt in the early 1990s. While the 1993 to new Pence coin is not known for high-value mint errors, a few notable varieties and anomalies have been reported by collectors. These include off-center strikes, die chips around the coronet or ribbon, and slight doubling of the queen's neckline or lettering. While rare, these errors can elevate a typical 20p coin into the £10, £20 range if clearly visible and verified by professional graders. Coins with full-edge rims, sharp details in the queen's hair, and no rust or discoloration are especially desirable. Being copper-plated steel, these coins are more susceptible to environmental damage than earlier bronze issues, so finding a well-preserved example from circulation is a welcome discovery. Additionally, 1993 was a year with no known restrikes or proof-only issues for this denomination, meaning all examples available to collectors today come directly from general circulation or mint sets. One interesting point about the 1993 issue is its role in educating new collectors about composition changes. A simple magnet test can distinguish a 1993 steel-based coin from an earlier bronze one, making it a great teaching tool for young numismatists or hobbyists exploring the science behind coinage. Its consistency and appearance with previous years, but differing internal material presents a fascinating contrast between what we see and what lies beneath. In terms of design appreciation, Makhlouf's portrait continues to be highly regarded. The way he stylized the Queen's hair, facial features, and jewelry reflects an artistic era of respect and realism. Coins bearing this portrait are among their favorites in modern numismatics. The crown and ostrich feathers of the Prince of Wales badge also show exceptional die detail in most 1993 strikes, providing excellent visual appeal. Collectors seeking to build a complete Elizabeth II decimal coin set must include this coin to represent the steel era of the 2p. And for those focused on transition coins, this issue bridges important shifts in both material and monarch design. It's not just a filler, it's a key link in the chain of numismatic history. If you have one in your collection, especially in fine condition with visible ribbon text, strong facial detail on the Queen, and clear rim beading, it's a coin worth holding onto. With every year that passes, the early 90s coins become less common in circulation, as wear and corrosion take their toll. So now is a great time to preserve these pieces for the long term. So, as we've seen, the 1993 Elizabeth II to new Pence coin may appear modest, but it carries weight both literally and figuratively in the story of UK coinage. Its refined design, transitional features, and durable beauty make it a valuable addition to any collection. 1990 for Elizabeth II to new Pence coin in fine condition. Continuing our countdown of the most collectible and historically important Elizabeth II to new Pence coins. We now arrive at the 1994 Ishua coin that carries the torch of design consistency, while deepening the story of a denomination that often hides in plain sight. The 1994 Elizabeth II to new Pence coin, while part of the regular coinage of its time, presents numismatists with an ideal blend of design elegance, updated composition, and enduring cultural resonance. Although minted in vast quantities, it retains steady collector demand due to its pristine Makhlouf portrait, solid copper-plated steel core, and status within a transitional era of British currency. First, let's take a closer look at what defines the 1994 to new Pence coin. It weighs 7.12 grams, consistent with its predecessors, and measures 25.91 millimeters in diameter. Made of copper-plated steel. Introduced in 1992 to replace the more expensive bronze alloy, the coin has a slightly different metallic feel and tone, sometimes darker and slightly magnetic, setting it apart from earlier coins. Despite this, its appearance was carefully maintained to ensure that users didn't notice the change during everyday use. This balance between economic efficiency and visual consistency is part of what makes the 1994 coin a fascinating study in modern minting. On the obverse, we find the third definitive coinage portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Makhlouf. It depicts the Queen facing right, crowned with the George IV state diadem, which is traditionally worn during the state opening of Parliament. Makhlouf's work is noted for its elegance, depth, and more mature depiction of Her Majesty. Compared to earlier portraits, this design adds a sculptural quality. There's more emphasis on her jewelry and facial structure, lending a regal tone that reflected the Queen's evolving role during the final decade of the 20th century. The inscription around the edge reads, Elizabeth to D. G. Reg. F. De 1994, standing for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. These letters, clean and distinct even on worn coins, echo the monarchy's ancient ties to the church and national authority. On the reverse, the familiar to be designed by Christopher Ironside remains intact. The badge of the Prince of Wales, with its 3 ostrich feathers rising from a coronet, is finely detailed and framed by the motto Ec Dearn. The inscription to pence replaces the earlier new pence used in the 1970s, reflecting the currency's maturity. The large numeral 2 anchors the design at the base, and a beaded border circles the entire composition, giving it classical symmetry and visual balance. By 1994, this design had become iconic, a comforting constant in the changing visual landscape of British coinage. The 1994 2p coin was struck in large numbers, with a mintage figure exceeding 348 million pieces. Despite its high circulation, coins in fine condition are increasingly sought after as many pieces from the 1990s begin to disappear from daily use due to corrosion, damage, or simple attrition. Coins from this era are now over 30 years old, and the number of well-preserved examples naturally diminishes over time. In fine condition, where details on the queen's diadem and the feathers are still visible and lightly worn, the coin typically commands a market value between 20 pence and 60 pence. Uncirculated examples, particularly those found in Royal Mint packs, range from £2 to £4, depending on quality and packaging integrity. Though this year does not carry widespread reports of striking errors or known die varieties, minor anomalies occasionally surface. Collectors have reported examples with slightly off-center strikes, misaligned dies causing doubling on the inscriptions, or tiny die chips soften around the rim or queen's neckline. While these errors are rare and not catalogued officially, their presence can significantly increase the value to the right beer, with prices reaching £10 or more depending on severity and clarity. One reason collectors appreciate the 1994 coin is its role within a clean and consistent production window. It represents the stability of British coinage in the early 1990s, a period where the nation was economically stabilizing and coin production was focused on reliability rather than redesign. This consistency makes it a preferred year for those building typesets or maclo fronts of the 2p coin. The coin's visual aesthetic, unchanged yet always appealing, helps tie together a decade's worth of decimal issues. Macloaf's portrait in 1994 was nearing the end of its reign, to be replaced only a few years later by the Ian Rank Broadley portrait in 1998. This proximity to a major design transition gives the 1994 issue added significance, particularly for collectors interested in capturing the Queen's image as it evolved on British coinage. It is one of the last years where Macloaf's intricate and elegant depiction enjoyed uninterrupted use. When examining coins in fine condition, collectors prioritize examples with clear edges, distinct facial details on the Queen, and well-preserved text in the ribbon of the Prince of Wales badge. It's common to find 1994 coins with moderate wear, especially on the high points of the Queen's profile and the feather tops, but the overall design should remain fully visible and legible. Coins that exhibit uniform brown patinas without corrosion are especially desirable. An interesting educational angle also emerges with this coin. The use of copper-plated steel makes it a valuable learning tool for distinguishing between materials using magnetism. Teachers and collectors alike often use this coin in presentations and beginner kits to explain the subtle differences in coin composition over time. For younger collectors just getting into numismatics, the 1994 2 pence is an affordable and historically rich coin to begin a deeper exploration into UK coinage. For those building date sets, the 1994 issue is an essential component, bridging the early 90s with the late 90s era. It stands as a visual and material continuation of the decimal journey, a reminder that not all value is found in rarity. Sometimes, it's in the quiet consistency and the role a coin plays in the larger historical and economic framework. Beyond its base value, the 1994 2p coin is a perfect representation of a mature decimal system operating at full capacity. It doesn't need flash or error fame to be important. It has earned its place through enduring quality and its embodiment of national design standards. So if you come across this coin in your change or tucked in a drawer, take a moment to appreciate its history. It's a reminder of Britain's numismatic evolution, the artistry of Raphael Macloaf, and the enduring appeal of coins that were never meant to be special but became special through time, context, and collector dedication.